Subscribe and click the notification bell to stay updated with the latest videos from School of Technology, Management and Engineering and MIMS Indore.
Good morning to one and all present here. Janvi Porwal, on behalf of School of Technology Management and Engineering, NMIMS Indore, welcome you all to second season of Sunday Tech series. As quoted by Bill Gates, power comes not from knowledge kept, but from knowledge shared. Therefore, starting with an exceptionally small idea of sharing knowledge with everyone around the globe, students of NMIMS came up with the idea to host a series of webinars introduced as the Sunday Tech series. Launched in the year 2020 to make the best use of technology and time during this pandemic. It conducted webinars every Sunday focusing on different programming languages and much more by the students. Overwhelmed and inspired by the success of season 1, with over 500 plus registrations across the globe, in all the 4 webinars, they came up with yet another season, getting closer to that milestone. Before we move ahead, I would first like to explain the flow of today's sessions. Up front, we have a question answer session with Mr. Soumya Singhi, our industry expert for today, which will not only help us all to enhance our knowledge, but also mark the beginning of STS Season 2. Following the completion of the same, we'll be starting with the much-awaited session of learning competitive coding with C++. Our day would finally come to a climax with a contest being held at the end of the webinar, in which each participant will get a chance to win some really exciting prizes. Attendees are requested to keep in mind that after the completion of the session, a feedback form will be floated in the chat box. Everyone is requested to fill it as certificates will be provided on the basis of submission of feedback forms only. Moving ahead, currently working as software engineer at Google and co-founder of PC Remote Company based in Redmond, Washington, having previous work experience as senior lead software engineer at Microsoft, along with more than 15 years of industry experience. Today, we have the honor of welcoming Mr. Soumya Singhi as an industry expert. We feel privileged to have you today with us, sir. I would now request Isha Chauhan and Ashi Patni for further proceedings.
Hello, sir. Very warm welcome to the first session of Sunday Tech Series Season 2. How are you, sir? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here and share with all of you guys with whatever I can.
All right, sir. So, sir, the first question that we have for you is that you work as a software engineer in Google. So, could you please tell us more about your role, any ongoing projects, and the technologies that you currently use?
So, what we are developing right as a software engineer, I have 2 roles right now that I'm playing. I am myself a tech lead, as well as I'm managing a team of 10 plus people. So what we are doing at Google is we are developing an internal infrastructure which allows teams to identify the changes that they have made into their binaries and how can they verify that their changes are being correct or not. So to verify that, we have developed a system which allows users to diff the output data of their systems. So we are dealing here with a scale of a couple of terabytes of data being generated every day and a couple of terabytes of data to be diffed every day. And the diffing itself is kind of an NP complete problem, which means the solution to it is at least quadratic. In some cases, it's more than quadratic, and we are trying to see how we can improve that and provide an end-to-end solutions for teams at Google.
All right. So for the young learners here that really don't know about what computer engineering is or something like that, so could you just tell us more in a language where we could understand like what programming languages led you there, or what kind of algorithms do you use for the same?
Um, there's not a single algorithm. The first thing I would recommend for everybody, or at least that helped me and people like I'm also in the hiring committee at Google, um, is to focus on algorithms, not only just of algorithms of how to solve a problem, but at Google we are specifically looking at how efficiently you can solve a problem. To solve a problem, there is you can do it in n square complexity, or you can do it in O of n complexity. So we are trying to see how efficient the candidate is in terms of solving the problems. And it is important for us because we are dealing, as I told you, we're dealing with data with a huge magnitude. And if you're
Right.
using a quadratic algorithms and you're not optimizing on them,
Mhm.
things are going to take forever. So algorithms are very important for us.
All right. So
And once you have the algorithms, we also expect people to be very good in coding. Uh,
Okay, sir. So for the next question, I think this is a kind of question that comes into every student's mind, like what they should do and what they should follow to maybe get into a dream company like Google.
so I would strongly recommend like Google specifically for students entering from as a fresh graduate. We are looking for two things. One is algorithms. How good are you at with algorithms? Um, and second is your execution. How can you execute things faster? By me, when I say faster, it does not mean that we take shortcuts. You have to follow all the procedures. You have to follow all the forms. You have to write good code, but then keep executing faster, which means how much you have done. If you have done a lot of coding, things will just be easier for you. But algorithms are very important.
So you mentioned like coding is very important. He has asked like he isn't that great at coding or programming, but has a creative thinking. So does he stand a chance like to work in companies like Google and Microsoft? Basically, could you please tell us more about the importance of programming skills?
So let me understand the question. Is the question as if I have the creative skills, but I may not have the computer science skills? What are my chances there?
Yes.
So creative skills are important. They are very important of how creative you are. But it's something like let me ask you a question here. I don't know how to sail the boat, but I have good ideas of how to row the boat. Will you put me as a captain of the sailing ship? Or will you be comfortable putting me as a captain of the sailing ship? Because I've got good ideas of how to take the boat from A to B point, but I don't know how to actually do it. So this is exactly the same thing. Um, Ideas are important, but when you're trying to develop a software um, or develop a product, it requires engineering, and that's why you guys are here. It requires a lot of engineering skills, understanding how things are being done. And as you grow professionally, you will see the challenges are not just technical, that challenges are also people challenges. You have to do it in a way that your team is happy, your team is excited, your team is motivated, and still develop the product and take hard decisions whenever it's need to be. And for that, usually it requires a good knowledge of computer science. Or being knowledge of computer science does not mean you need to have a degree for computer science. You can still get that knowledge without having a degree. And there are people at Google who don't have a degree for computer science, but they know how to. They have ideas. They know how to write algorithms and code.
all right, sir. So, as you said, that computer skills are important. Along with computer skills, what do you think a student needs to be really focused to make ourselves ready for the industry? What are the things that we should keep in mind since the beginning of our journey in college? That at the end of the day, we have to be somewhere. We have to join a company. So, what is that? What are the characteristics that a student should focus on?
So, a couple of things that I believe that, say, when everybody enters into a company, all of them might have pretty much a very good bar of skills, like all the computer skills or whatever we are talking about. But what makes them successful? Not everybody is who joins the company doesn't grow very fast. So, a couple of things that I have found people, couple of skills which are important for you to be successful is um, hard work, ability to have good take feedback and see how you can improve by taking feedback, um, and being responsible. Do not drop the ball. Like I've seen a lot of people drop the ball. That's very important in the corporate culture that you don't drop the ball.
All right, sir. Sir, since we all are in a pandemic right now, how has pandemic affected your work? How has it been different for you?
Uh, are you asking personally me or pretty much at Google?
Pretty much at Google. Yes, definitely. For everybody who works there.
So it has been a mixed reaction. For few people, it has been quite hard for them to. It has been quite hard for them to survive in pandemic because these people have not. They don't know how to cook food, and Google has been serving them for their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And now they have a very hard time figuring out how do I manage my lunch, breakfast, and dinners. They don't know where to find laundry because they didn't have a laundry in their apartments because they were just doing at Google. But for some people, were able to get more time by not doing commutes, and they were able to still do most of their meetings or perform work. Overall, I found we have a problem that the team is more productive, which means they are burning out. They're not taking vacations. So as a manager, I am pushing teams to take more vacations. We are getting Google-based holidays, ads-based. I'm in ads, so we get ads-based holidays, and I have my team-based holidays. Just making sure pushing people to get free holidays to do so that they don't get burnouts.
Right. So, sir, we know that pandemic has definitely taught all of us to be self-sufficient and independent enough to do work on our own, right? So, we also have a lot of budding entrepreneurs among us, and we really want to know how they start their journey. So, could you tell us more about the that your startup that was PC Remote that you co-founded? We would love to know more about it.
So that was at a time where I was at Microsoft, and Microsoft came out with this new product, Windows Phone. I don't know how many people remember that or not, but at that point, at least in Microsoft, that was something that company was pushing for, and we thought it could be a great opportunity to uh, jump into it if this product becomes successful. So we found that there was a need where I had a computer attached to my TV, and it was like a pain point to start up anything on my computer. I have to take a keyboard and a mouse and say, okay, let's go and solve it. We said we are going to do it on a phone, and we found that there were a bunch of other apps also on Windows Phone. We were doing it. We said we are going to do it better. So we did a lot of vertical integration. The whole idea was how can we get about 1 million users on Windows Phone, and that's how the journey started. We were very focused on customer feedback. We were doing updates initially pretty much twice or thrice a week, which means we were going in a continuous rollout. User feedback was very, very important for us. So that was reasons that we were successful. And by the time the Windows Phone life ended, we had about 7 million downloads, and people at Microsoft were saying that, okay, like pretty much all of the you're saying that you have 7 million downloads, which means pretty much all of the Windows Phone users are onto PC Remote or so. So we were used to just make fun of it. So that was kind of an interesting project we did.
That's amazing. So that's really good.
So the next question is like I would ask, like, has it ever crossed your mind, or maybe sometimes you think about it, like what you would be doing now if not particularly working at Google?
If I'm not working at Google, I might join maybe Elon Musk to like maybe Tesla or somewhere to go and participate in his new kind of innovations. But again, there are a lot of startup companies in Bay Area which are doing a fantastic jobs. So yes, there are a lot of options to consider.
Sure, sir. So the next question would be like, how do you manage the stress and the pressure that comes along while working? Like, how do you deal with it? Do you do any particular activity or what?
So I do meditation. I am recently trying to involve myself into one or the other sports. I spend time with family. At the same time, I know when to leave from work, which helps me in being very efficient. I know this is the time I have to get out, and I can come back to work once I am like once kids goes to bed. I can go and sign in if I want to. But I have like specific time hours where I usually tend to work, which really made me very efficient. Like I have to just start calculating what I want to do by end of the day and go from backwards and make sure that I am on track for that. So
Okay, so
I think having a good work-life balance, involving yourself both at work as well as involving in some engaging activities at home, would really help people. And I think efficiency is the key. Like you have to keep. I have to still figure out myself how can I be more efficient.
So the next question is, what is the next big thing? What is the next big thing Google, Microsoft, all these companies are going to see now in technology? And what is our future basically? If,
So we're in exciting times where when I was in the computer science, things were like databases and maybe the internet were like kind of a few big things there. Um, Now the next few big things are going to be uh, large data analysis. You will see AI. A lot of teams, including Google, we are using AI for a lot of our products, and we are seeing like efficiency gains, and we are able to solve problems that you cannot solve by regular program writing regular programs with your if else or while conditions. And then you are seeing a lot of innovations in green energy. So those are like a couple of big things, and now bitcoins.
definitely, yeah.
So now let's get to the rapid fire round. So for this, these questions, please try and answer the first thought that comes to your mind after listening to it. So the first question would be, what is one idea or advice that changed your life?
What is one?
Idea or advice that changed your life?
I think I learned hard work that really helped me in my college years and 11th and 12th. That really helped me in changing my life.
So the person you admire the most?
Elon Musk.
I think everyone does.
Mhm.
So favorite technological innovation?
Given we are talking about Elon Musk, so I would say the SpaceX, the rocket coming back and able to relaunch it again. So I think it's kind of fascinating.
Sure, sir. So your favorite book?
The Theory of Reality by Dr. Weiber.
Okay, sir. So favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Yes. So like, what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, there are so many things I like to do in my free times. I play tennis, I play with my kids, I watch TV, I listen to music, I do hiking, so a lot of things. It depends.
Okay, sir. And so, like, would you like to tell us more about your first software project, or what was your first software project?
So my first software project was in my first year of engineering. It was with my friend who was not in my college, my school friend, where we tried to make a messaging app um, where I was able to there was no I was able to make a connection to his PC directly on a specific port, and we were able to chat with each other. So that was my first project.
Sure, sir. So with this, we'll end our question answer session round. It was indeed delighting talking to you, sir. And I'm sure that the advice that you gave, like how creative thinking, programming, coding, and along with it, hard work and determination is important. I think everyone it will help, and we'll also keep this particular thing in mind. So thank you, sir, joining for again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting. It's good to see my Akhil sir here, like after like so many years.
How are
Great to
you,
see him here.
Soumya? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Great. Okay. Soumya, I had a small quick question before Janvi wraps up. You see, everybody's talking about going agile. So, and still the kids in colleges are still taught those waterfall models of software engineering. How they should tune or tone up themselves and prepare themselves for making them industry ready, because we are talking about agile to stay there for a decade or so. Maybe it's too early to say that, but still, what is your advice? One advice to students how to prepare themselves to make them better fit for the industry.
So, like the agile software was being developed so that you can have faster releases and continuous delivery. And the faster releases and continuous delivery can happen when you are writing, when you're thinking about how do I release my code more efficiently, which means what is your testing process? How can you automate that? Um, and when you make changes to it, how do I identify those regressions, performance changes? So if you have those in place, these are like the practical things that you would do for any software which is being used wide scale. So if you think those things in mind, that and how easy you can make, maybe you have to put some efforts initially, but then you will start having a gain after that. So those are the things you have to start thinking, like what can I do so that I can save time, same 3 hours for my team later in the time for a long-term plan, not just try to do a short-term thing.
So Google is already agile.
So a lot of teams, so we don't follow the waterfall model. We are just because Google doesn't is not a company which makes any mandate for every teams. So teams can choose whatever model they want. But I think what we are watching is very carefully, which goes to the VP level, is are the teams able to release 2 to 3 times a week? That means they have to be able to perform their release pretty much daily. So we don't do releases on Friday. So you have like if you're asking for 2 to 3 releases out of 4 days, it means you're asking for pretty much ability to release daily.
Almost every alternate day or rather daily, you have to give in a release which is complete in itself. It's a complete module.
Yes. So idea is your releases have to be automated. If it's manual, you cannot do it. You cannot spend 5 people or 2 people every day. So releases and all signals have to be automated. But not a lot of teams are there, but a lot of teams are still there. So it depends where are you in the product cycle.
When you plan to come to India, is there any possibility of near future come back to Indore, India particularly?
I had my tickets for July 7th or 8th, but I'm not sure about this pandemic. Is this how practical it will be? But I still have my tickets so far, so I won't cancel it yet.
So we'll catch you live then, if possible. If the students start coming to college, I'll you are at a safe distance right now. I'll make you a little more vulnerable then. Chalo, nice talking to you, Soumya. Thank you for all your time. I know it's a little late in the night right now there. So I hope I have not spoiled your time with your kids.
No. So thank you very much. Thank you for
Pleasure. Over to you, Janvi.
Thank you, sir, for an insightful session. Thank you, Isha and Ashi. With this, we will now begin with a session on competitive coding with C++, where our session experts for today, Ms. Trisha Sharma and Mr. Suyash Kaur, students from BTech, Computer Science and Business System, third year STME NMIMS Indore.